Can you hear that dog barking? There's a dog park nearby. And the dog is over there barking. Um, so I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna try to be completely real. And I kind of feel like, why am I even doing this? As you can see, I'm in my natural state now. No frills, none of that. So I keep on getting, and maybe this is just for me, but I keep on getting like notices from people about what is going on out there. And so I just listened to a message from a friend of mine that came in actually yesterday. I didn't hear it till just now though. A really good friend of mine I haven't talked to in a long time. And she's in California. We met years ago and just clicked. We met because our kids were at the time going to the same school, and then we ended up not going to that school, but by then, we had all made friends. And she's got her son, I think is like a year older than my son, and she's got a daughter who's like maybe 7th grade or a few years younger and still in middle school. And anyway, and so we were friends, she and her husband and their kids and my son and I, we were all friends. And then we ended up, we ended up we were living in the same city in Southern California for a while, and then everything changed and we moved, but she and I remained really good friends. And then every now and then we get together and the kids would get to play and all that stuff. And they're just cool people. You know how you meet some people and right off the bat, it's just like, yep, we're friends. So it was that kind of a deal. And the kids got along and the whole bit. Well, anyway, fast forward. Oh, and then we moved out of the country. That's what happened. So we moved out of the country, for several years and didn't really lose touch, but, we weren't in touch a lot. Every now and then, just touching base. And then we came back and then they moved out of the country. So they did the same thing we did. And similarly, we kept in touch occasionally, but obviously they were on a different island. They moved to Barbados. Was it Barbados? I think so. Hi, Timothy. I'm all right. Going through it. Anyway, so then they came back from Barbados, and actually, long story short, was that the couple ended up filing for divorce, which I did not see coming at all. And so, so in her message I just heard a moment ago, she said, she let me know their divorce is final. I knew they'd been going through it for a while. Going to mediation and all the things. They had some property that they were dealing with and whatnot. Anyway, so she just told me a moment ago on this message that the divorce is final. And, in a way, it's like, I guess that's good because at least there's no more like in between stuff and whatever. You just kind of know where you are. And anyway, so they're just managing their lives. But that isn't even really the point of what I'm trying to say now. But she was just saying, she started out by just saying how much, she's going through it. Like her kids are, kind of managing their lives, and her son, who's a teen, is going through some of the teen things and some struggles and also just some discovery. Part of it's just normal teen stuff, but and then her daughter, who's in middle school, is navigating those things. Not surprisingly, the daughter is doing pretty well, like kicking behind with grades and everything, and but also just all the typical things. So she shared some of that, but then she was talking about how, like, as women and women of color, a lot of times we just have to deal with so much stuff. Like, so much stuff gets placed on us. And now she's doing this as a single parent, primarily. The dad comes back and forth a little. I think he's spending a lot of time in another country. But so she's mainly managing this as a single parent. And she just got news that her job is ending. It's like, you see what I'm saying? I keep telling you guys, I'm like, I keep on hearing news about people who are going through it. And, I have been going through it. So my job ended, for those who don't know, my very nice kind of prestigious type job ended almost a year ago, last June. And I mean, I saw it coming. We got notice in it well in advance. They sent us notice that it was going to be happening. So, but still, you know what I mean? It's a huge shift. And then that, of course, impacted everything else in my life, and it's been really difficult. And then other aspects of my life were challenged. And so hearing her talk about all of that stuff, just kind of give me a little bit of an update. Like right off the bat, she was sharing these things. And I swear I got a little bit choked up because it was like so reflective of what I have been going through for months now. And so my message really is about, please support people in your life, particularly women of color. You guys, if you're not in this position, you have no idea the amount of weight that we carry. I'm saying the amount of burden. And yes, we are living in incredibly challenging times. And I know it doesn't just apply to women or women of color, but I'm speaking as one. And I'm speaking because I've heard from a lot of us. Some of them are my dear friends, and others, I mean, I'm in DC right now, and the thing that's happening with the federal government is crazy. It's like a bloodbath out there. I've talked to so many people. I know people specifically who have been impacted by these crazy layoffs and buyouts and all this type of stuff. But even beyond that, it's just, people whose relationships are ending, people who are trying to figure out financially what they're going to do, who, you'd think at this point in our lives, we were like, okay, cool, I'm going to coast a little bit. You have to maneuver, and things are never guaranteed. But I've had many people say to me recently that they are on pins and needles. Yeah, that's the expression I've heard from a couple of people just randomly. They're on pins and needles, wondering if they're going to have a job the next day. And I'm telling you, I've heard from a number of female friends in particular. I have male friends too who have some experience, who are going through some of this. One of them I can think of right now, who's in New York and has a new baby. But the women, and women of color, it's like just managing stuff. And a number of us just happen to be single mothers. Either like my friend who's just getting, or who just got her divorce finalized, or others who, in different like aspects or reasons for their relational status, just whatever. But it's like, please give some love to the women in your life, because I could hear it in her voice when she was talking. I'm telling you, it choked me up, because I was like, oh my God, it was so reflective of how I have felt recently. And it's hard. It's really hard. And I know a lot of my posts lately, I've been like, moving forward and doing what you have to do. And I am doing that. I am. I mean, I'm not, laying around in a pile all day being upset, but I have had my moments for sure where it's been like incredibly overwhelming and incredibly difficult, and feeling like you have to manage this, on your own sometimes is hard. Like, what is going on? And like I've said before, thankfully I have a lot of really good friends who are there. And like some of my girlfriends have heard me say the same thing over and over and over again, like, okay, Kelly. And then to their credit, they've never said like, are we done yet? At all. In fact, I sent a couple of them a message last night, like, thank you for letting me say the same thing 500 times and just letting me work through my stuff, But yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge, because I think sometimes, you can tune into channels or podcasts or whatever, and people are like, stay positive and all that kind of stuff. And that's true, and we should stay positive. But I think it's also important to just acknowledge when you're not feeling positive, and when stuff is not going your way, and when you just feel like, I'm just trying to get through this moment, let alone the day. You're just trying to get through the moment. So I wanted to acknowledge when people are not feeling great. You know what I mean? Like when I'm in my element, like I have been recently on some of these videos I've done, I feel great. And I'm out there and I'm like walking 5 and 6 miles and doing this and doing that. And that's fantastic. And I hope that those have been inspirational to people and helping them, push forward. I have heard from some people who were like, great, thank you. It's like gives me another, what is it, like a dose of energy or courage or what have you, that's fantastic. But there's also times that I'm not recording when I have been, in a pool of tears and, just fucking struggling through this stuff. So that's why I was like, I'm gonna keep it 100% real here, and let you know. How am I doing? I'm okay. I mean, I'm okay. And I'm okay because I have to be okay. I don't have the choice. Like, I have major stuff that I'm now having to do. I'm about to move back to California. I have not had a job since June, you guys, since June. And I have exhausted my resources. And, shit is hard. And people I thought were going to really be in my corner and be supportive and just be kind. I've been shocked at how that has not been the case. And so again, I just think it's important to acknowledge that when you're dealing with stuff that's difficult, yes, it's fine to be like rah rah, stay positive and grind and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes you don't want to grind. Sometimes you're ground out. Like, you are already ground out. And you just need a little like TLC, or at least you need to have it acknowledged how you're feeling, right? And then it's okay not to always have it together. That's why I'm appearing just like this, when I'm chilling out, and I was really struck by the message that my girlfriend left me. Like, wow, and this was a woman who was like CEO of a nonprofit, like killing it in her field, and and the people that I like, my ilk, the people that I kind of circulate with, are all like top level professionals and doing what they, just like great parents and just good people, and they are feeling it. And so, like, how appropriate would it be of me to call her and be like, oh girl, come on, think positive. Yeah. I mean, sure, there's a place for that, but it's also like, I just want to acknowledge what she's going through, and also not stay stuck in like, oh, pity party. No, that's not helpful either. I think there's just a balance. That's kind of what I'm trying to get through here, is that there's a balance between acknowledging where you are and feeling the feelings and allowing yourself to process through all of it. And then also going, okay, so you felt bad for the past hour or the day or whatever it is. Now let's go out and take a walk and, whatever it is, be social or what have you. So do I miss the DR? I do miss the DR. There's some other places I want to go and visit. Like, I've been kind of obsessed with Tanzania. Like, I want to run off to Tanzania or someplace. And, at some point in the future, I feel like I'm going to move abroad again. And I'm not sure where yet, but I feel like Africa is calling me, honestly. So thank you for the thumbs up. And by the way, apparently there's this $sign thing up here. If you guys are in the position to, and you want to contribute, make a donation, please feel free, because I'm in that position right now, like, where, no joke, it's gotten like kind of dire, and it can make you question your own self. You know what I mean? Like, how have I gotten to this position? What, did I do something wrong? Did I not plan properly? But then it's like, I don't think so. When you look around, you see the same thing happening to various people, again, men and women, who are dealing with challenging relationships and finances and career stuff, and like I always keep saying, all the same things. Everybody's pretty much dealing with the same stuff. There's something else that's bigger going on. And I do believe that there's like a shift in consciousness that's happening. There's a shift in energetic, planetary, like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's enough people talking about it and enough people sharing what their experiences have been, that it's not just coincidental. I don't think so. And I don't have a crystal ball, so I'm not quite sure. But I think, again, that's why I continue to speak on this, because it's like, I want people to understand there's something larger. As far as I'm concerned, there's something larger afoot here. There's something larger going on. And the way I try to deal with it is by doing the best I can in my life, right? My person, because you may have heard me say before in different videos, like, if I'm like one little molecule and I help myself become kind of healthy and happy and stable and all that type of stuff, then I'm going to attract other healthy, happy, stable molecules, and then we clump together and form like a little community, and it spreads out from there. It's like ripples in a lake, right? If you throw a stone and it ripples out. And so the healthier and happier and more real you can become about your own situation, that helps the collective, right? If you are ignoring your own shit, honestly, first of all, you're hurting yourself. Second of all, people around you are not going to benefit from your presence or from whatever you're offering because it's not authentic, because it's a facade. And so you're trying to counsel other people, you're trying to counsel your children on how to handle difficulty and all this stuff, but you're not handling the difficulty, honestly. You're not being real. What is the point of that? Seriously. And so I think it's important to, like, my son I've shared with him some of the things that are going on. I'm like, okay, this is what it is. And so, nope, we're not going to go buy whatever dinner tonight at this place. It's like, we're going to cook at home. And, that's a simple example, but I'm letting him know, like, this is what it is. And here's why you need to handle your business and do this and do that, because, things do get challenging. And so, so it's funny because I actually feel like I lose respect for people when they don't deal honestly, and that's pretty broad, honestly with other people, but also honestly with themselves. Like, what are you doing, right? And there's no, like, I can't tell someone else what their growth should be or how they're supposed to handle their particular lives. Like, obviously, we all have our own ways of doing it, but if you just are like if you're not like being real with yourself, especially when it's obvious. Oh, hi from Russia. Wow, long way away. Thank you. If you're not being real with yourself, then what are you doing? Then step out of the way for the rest of us who are trying to manage it. And guess what? For the record, being real gets messy and ugly and like confusing. It is not, I've said this before, it's not a linear path. It's not straight, doesn't always make sense. But if you're willing to go through it, then it gets so much easier. And that's why I've been able to appear on some of these videos, like having it together and all that, because I've gone through a lot of the really messy part. Like, fortunately, I think at this part, I'm kind of on the tail end. Hopefully, I think I am on the tail end of like the messy part and the super emotional part and the part that was really hard. Like, at the beginning, it was incredibly difficult because it felt like everything at once was coming at me. And, and so some of the support I thought I was going to have, when it was clear to me that was not going to happen, I was devastated. I was crushed. I really was. Like, I would not have appeared on a video. I was crushed and shocked and saddened and hurt and angry and all those things. But I had to push through it. What am I going to do? Like, not exist? And so I did what I had to do, and I sat with myself, and I did the different things that you do to try to get you through that, like journaling, like meditating, like exercising, like talking to friends, like, whatever. And like crying my eyes out at times. I did all of that. And then then that would kind of subside. And so when I began to feel like a little bit better, okay, then I do the next thing and the next thing. You just have to walk through it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean when I say it's not linear, it's not pretty, it's not easy. It is hard. It is hard. And when I was like digging into myself, like, okay, what is it about me? Have I made some mistakes? Where is it that I'm not seeing things that I could do better? Blah, blah, blah. I did all that. And so now, if I have like a wave of sadness or a wave of frustration or whatever, it's just that. It's like a wave. It comes and then it goes pretty quickly. And so that's why I say I really think I'm getting toward the end of the really difficult part, I still don't have answers about like job stuff going forward. Not yet. I mean, I've had a series of different interviews. I have another one tomorrow. Wish me luck for one tomorrow. Lots of things coming up, but it's what it is. And I wouldn't say it's good news to know that there are other people in my same position, because I don't, it's like not like misery loves company, but it kind of helps me see that, okay, this is not a unique situation. That's why I have said repeatedly in these videos, a lot of people are going through it right now. As Timothy B said here, we are living in challenging times, and I'm not quite sure what it is, other than that maybe like it's a shake up of the collective consciousness, because we need to get to either like, okay, either you're going to go to the dark side and stay there. And by that, I don't mean like you're going to be an evil person and like commit crimes. Not necessarily. I mean, I hope not. But it could also mean that you just refuse to, come into the light of your own experience, like stay in the darkness within your own mind. Like you're not willing to just deal truthfully with yourself and with your like shadow self or whatever it's called. The stuff about you that you need to fix. And you know what it is because either people have said it to you in your lifetime, or you know it because you're not quite being honest, or you're not being authentic, or you are skirting, you're sidestepping responsibility, or however it may appear in your life, when you're not really on your stuff like that. And that's what I mean about so there's going to be people who remain there and, keep repeating the same patterns, keep having the same experiences in relationships and in their finances and all that. And then there's the rest of us who are willing to do the hard stuff now and make the changes and level up. Keep hearing about level up. But it's like, yeah, and by the way, when you level up, and I was talking to someone about this recently. It's like, well, how come if I'm trying to level up, I'm cool for a while, and then I feel like I get sucked back into something, like, old thoughts or old feelings, whatever. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going up again, and I get sucked back for a minute. And they were like, that's exactly what it is. It's like shedding an old skin, right? Like kind of like an internal battle with your old self that is used to maybe certain, like ego death, or there's all these terms that sound kind of cliche when I use them. But it's like, yeah, the old habits that you've had, the old ways of thinking, the old things that you've believed, the old excuses that you've allowed yourself to exist under, all those kinds of things that in a way have been comfortable because you're just used to them. You may not like the results, but you're like, well, that's just kind of how it's been. Versus the new you that you're like, no, I want to be better at whatever it is. And that means you're going to have to show up differently, and you're going to have to be more disciplined, and you're going to have to be real, and you're going to have to confront your own shit, and you're going to have to probably apologize to people who you screwed over or where you weren't even authentic with your kids, and you're telling them one thing, but like, are you demonstrating that? Are you demonstrating how, you need to be whatever way? Show your emotions, show that you are consistent, show that you are blah, blah, fill in the blanks. I can't think of all the examples, but I'm saying whether it's kids, family, a partner, on your job, with your finances, like, are you being responsible? All that type stuff. We can all either choose to stay where we were. Oh, it's my friend just messaging me. Ah, sweet. Stay where we were, where we have been, and keep on having the same experiences and wondering, how come I always deal with this? How come I always have these things? Or do the hard work now. It's like, here it is. It's like pay now or pay later. It's really quite simple. Pay now or pay later. And I was like, let me just pay now. It's just already fucked up anyway. Might as well go ahead and pay now. And then I know that when I move on to the next thing, I am fully expecting greatness. Like, I really believe I'm already great. I really do. I believe I'm great. In fact, I know that I am a great person, a great woman, a great human being, because of what's in my heart, because of the brilliance I exude, because of my pure spirit and kindness and willingness to just give and love and all those things. That's just who I am. It's in my nature. And so there's no reason why I should not also experience greatness, as a receipt. I shouldn't get that back in all kinds of different ways. And so, and you are too, right? If you choose to be. But again, if you are engaging in behavior that is not great, whatever it is, it. When you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And so don't act surprised when your life reflects that. You can't keep being frustrated if you refuse to make the changes. It's as simple as that. So yeah, I started out by kind of giving a shout out to women of color in particular, because Lord knows we tend to carry the brunt of a lot of things at times, when the men in your lives, in our lives, are dealing with difficulties, we are there to like soothe and comfort them and take care of them and prepare meals for them and love on them and all that kind of stuff. And that's great. I think that's what we should do. When our children aren't well, we soothe and comfort and prepare meals and love on them and all that, which is what we should do. When our families are in need, we do all those things. On the job, when there's extra stuff that needs to happen, we step in there. Like, we are always doing that. We do it for each other. Women do it for each other. But then it's like, When we need it, like, who's taking care of the caretaker? Who is doing it? Nobody's bringing me chicken soup when I get sick. You know what I mean? So I wanted to just circle back to the piece about women because it's so important, for that. But then beyond that, I wanted to say, and I have said, I'm going to repeat it one more time, and I'm going to get off. If you're not doing what you need to be doing in terms of, leveling up in your life, acknowledging your own shit and dealing with it, then I'm not crying tears for you. I'm not crying tears for you. I'm like passing you by on my way up to the next thing. So that's what I have to say. Mwah, peace out. Here's this book. I got another copy for myself. The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. Oh my gosh. I love this book. I bought this book so many years ago. And I don't know where it is. I think I may have given away a copy a billion years ago. This is one of these, like, keep this in your library forever type books. And I got it's a little tiny, you can carry this around forever. It's not going to add any weight to your briefcase or your backpack or whatever. So I'm going to read this again. I highly recommend it. And that's it. Sending peace and love. Mwah. Bye. Be happy and be real. Be real. Deal with your own shit. I love you.